Would say if I could have anything I wanted, it would be having an array of resources that I could be able to service every child with no problem and have like the best for them. We do attempt that, but with some staffing shortages, room shortages, outside facility shortages, or just limits on things, I would just say no limits on the resources available for our students so that they could have the Cadillac of everything. That would be great.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Brighter Together podcast. My name is Janet Courtney, and my special guest today is Patricia Dreher. Patricia is the Executive Director of Special Education at Warren City School District in Warren, Ohio. Patricia, thank you for being on the show today.
Oh, thank you for having me, Janet. I was very excited.
Awesome. So tell us a little bit about your journey to this position in education and a little about Warren City School District.
Okay. So my journey, I started being out with being a school psychologist for Niles City Schools for 12 years. And then I went to our Educational Service Center in Trumbull County and was a supervisor for students with emotional disturbance for several years. Then I went to our state support team, where I worked with the state of Ohio and helped districts with monitoring and things like that. And during that process, got an opportunity to work with Warren City Schools, and then an opening for the director came, and I got that opportunity. And this is my 4th year now at Warren City Schools as the executive director of special ed.
Congratulations. So you've been in education for 20 plus years at least, right?
Yep, a little bit. Yeah, like almost 30, getting there.
Almost 30. Yeah. I got 32 next month. I'm like, oh, how did that happen? I don't know. It's okay. We look great. We look great. Yeah. And we look great. Yeah, absolutely. Okay. So tell us a little bit. I love that. We've got to build ourselves up. We absolutely have to. It's a hard job, and we're doing it. So tell me a little bit about, well, that was really wild off topic, wasn't it? That's one of the things I love. I can be goofy sometimes, and it's still okay,
That's good. It's a good thing to have in education.
Right? You have to laugh sometimes. Warren City School District, you told me it's over on the east side of Ohio. So tell me a little bit about Warren and your community.
So it is a mid-size urban. It is the largest district that we have in Trumbull County. We have about around 4,600 students. With the special ed, we have about 1,000 of the students on IEPs. Now, those also include our preschool and out-of-district students. So we have 4 K-8 buildings and preschool included in those buildings, and then 1 high school. And then we, obviously also service some students that are out of district. Like we have, a classroom at JJC. We have a classroom in our Children's Services County unit as well. So we service some of those students as well because those entities are located in our district.
What is JJC?
The juvenile justice. So students that are, of course, ready for a little bit of time. So.
Yeah, unfortunately, it happens. Yeah. They still need to learn. They still need an education. Absolutely. Yeah, for sure. Those poor kids have not been handed an easy life ever.
No, they usually all come with a story.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's never a happy one, unfortunately.
But sometimes we get some happy endings. So
yeah, I'm not saying you don't get happy endings. I just feel terrible for those kids because they were not handed a silver spoon when they were born, and it is a hard job to educate them. But they're human beings, and they absolutely need an education. And I agree 1,000%. So please don't hear that I don't love kids, because I love kids. I don't care where they are. I just know that is so hard. So anyway. So what would you say is your biggest challenge right now in education?
So right now, I would say one of our biggest challenges is the amount of students that that are starting to come in, from preschool up, that are having more intense disabilities. And every year we seem to increase in the amount of extreme extreme needs with our students, and then finding those um, opportunities on how to educate them when we have less and less resources, because everybody is in that same boat and we're all competing for those same resources.
Yeah.
So I think that's becoming one of our biggest challenges. And I don't think it's just mine. It's, within our county, we have that. I'm pretty sure within our state. And then when I had been out of state and I had met a couple educators, they had also said that they were seeing some of the same concerns that we're seeing here in Ohio. So,
Remember when 13% utilization, and utilization is how many, for those of you that don't know, utilization is that number is how many of the total population need or have an IEP or a special uh, need beyond the general population. And 13% was high. And now we're seeing numbers in the 20s and 25%.
yeah, our total is 18.86% right now. So, and certain categories like autism are increasing yearly with us. That seems to be one of our biggest increases in disability category.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's heartbreaking. It's absolutely heartbreaking that we're seeing that. And I'm really hoping that as we go to a more holistic society, that's going to come down. I hope, you know, I don't think there's a magic cure out there. I don't think there's a magic wand that's going to make it go away. But I do think that maybe if we get something, I don't know. I'm hopeful. I'm prayerful. Just for those kids and for their families, it's an awful thing to have to deal with. And there's a beautiful human being behind every single one of those labels, isn't there? So
Yes, there is.
for sure, for sure. So, and when you say resources, are you talking about money? Are you talking about people, or is it just like everything?
Um, Encompassing everything. Funding has been a little more challenging, and therefore, sometimes, having outside resources because you're having limited funds, or people from the outside that have limited funds to be able to provide some of those resources. And then staffing is also, becoming more and more challenging, finding, teachers that want to go in that field and then work with that population. So we have some really great ones that come out, but it's not like it was even 10 years ago. 20 years ago was like the golden standard, every year it's getting harder and harder to fill those positions.
Yeah, you have a open position and you don't even get one applicant. It's really disheartening when before you'd have 20 applicants, right?
Right, right. It
So
was to be competitive.
yeah, it was competitive, yeah, and now it's like, can we find somebody? Can we find I know there's a lot of schools are doing some amazing programs to educate, people into parapro positions and educate paraprofessionals into teachers and sped teachers and helping them to go along. I know there's a lot of that going on in Michigan. I've talked to a couple of schools up there that they have a really nice program to help the staff that they have. Do you want to become a teacher? Let's get you there. Let's help get you there. Let's help pay to get you there. And it's, yeah, they're trying to grow their own, right?
Yeah, that's what we have that program here. So we have some student or some staff that are educational assistants. And so going to school wanting to be an educator. So working with them to try to get them so that they can, get that degree and then become a teacher. And then they have that experience because they've been working as an educational assistant along the way.
Awesome. Yeah, I'm glad to hear that's there as well. It's not going to fix the problem, but it is a way to make it a little bit better, right?
Yeah, at least gives us a few. And then it's nice because like we've worked with them and so they understand our population and they understand kind of our systems and things like that. So it's an easy transition for them, from that position into a teaching position.
Yeah. Yeah. So what are some of your biggest wins?
So, just different students, I think what's nice is I have an excellent staff that really care about students in every one of my buildings. So what we really do is we try to look at the students that we have that are coming that have these unique situations and like, what can we do? How can we do this? Let's get out of the box. So we really try to, I think it's nice because we really look at the student, see what we have, and try to make a program that's going to work with them individually. So for example, we have a little girl that just came to us. She's in a wheelchair, she's blind, she's kind of multiple disability, that kind of thing. Mom, great mom, but was hesitant to bring her in school because wants to protect her. So we get
Mhm.
her. So we started her just because she's not ready for Braille. So we had to start her with textile to get her to get with that. So we start that. So hopefully we could working on some PT, all those skills for her, and then, just started her actually 3 days a week, coming in and starting with certain skills building. We're at a point where we're looking to add, um, to 5 days a week, and then we'll grow her to longer periods of the day. So, just doing those kind of things. We have another student we have that has, brittle bones, very difficult, but very bright, so, wanna keep him, but he's so sensitive that, working on now, can we do, like, an online where he can Zoom into our teacher's classroom so he can be part of the classroom, do that, but not get bumped and get injured? So, it's all the way to that to, just all the continuum of services as well that we have in our district. So, but drilling down to those most intense situations that we can, and how can we address those concerns and work with them and give them supports that will meet their needs. So I like that our district is very open to doing different things and meeting students' needs. So I think that's a definite win here at Warren City.
There is a crisis in this country, a massive shortage of special education teachers. We know how devastating this can be for your students, families, and staff. Lighthouse Therapy places experienced special education teachers in virtual, hybrid, and on site roles, and we handle everything from hiring to onboarding to mentorship. These aren't just placements, they're professionals who understand compliance, collaboration, and care. Let us help you fill in the gaps with special education teachers who really understand. We are here to help. Visit lighthouse-therapy.com/brighter together to connect with us today. That's awesome. That's awesome. When you invest in the kids, you win, right? Absolutely. I was talking to a gentleman from Wisconsin the other day, and their school is shrinking, and he was talking about closing 2 elementaries and how it's not the building where you learned, it was the people in those buildings. It was a great point because it's like it's hard. It's hard when you have to change and close something that the community cares about, and all my kids went there and now it's not going to be there, and it's like, yeah, but that wasn't what made it special. What made it special was the human beings that were there and the
And the
experiences you
experiences,
had. Yeah.
yes, yes, exactly.
Exactly,
Oh,
exactly, yeah. So, for
yeah.
sure.
And that's another thing I think we do very well in Warren is we give a lot of our students, there's a high poverty. We're one of the poorest communities within the state of Ohio. So we've built an incredible wellness center, and we have our students with special disabilities and our more intense needs go there, and they get to use a golf simulator. We have a sensory room. We have activities. We are having our eighth graders eat lunch at the cafeteria at the high school because of the wellness centers connected to the high school, so they can start transitioning and getting to know them. We try to make sure that we do field trips. Every Thanksgiving we have we make a Thanksgiving dinner for the students so that they have, and we all serve it. And, we just really and try to do parent friendly things and community based, like a game night where the parents come in and have, into the school, and we have games, and we try to, incorporate game nights and things like that. So just really trying to incorporate activities for our students so they have various opportunities and experiences that they might not normally have that opportunity to have within their home and things like that.
Yeah, and they'll thrive when you do something like that, won't they?
Yes.
It's it
And the
it is
parents,
definitely good.
yeah. And the parents are just, it's nice because they have, and to see them interact and then enjoy that, it's just a nice interaction and a nice, added bonus to what we do.
Absolutely, absolutely. What would you say, is something that makes your team like, what do you do with your team, or how do you manage your team that you have such great people? I mean, it obviously it's the people, but there's leadership that happens there too. What kinds of things do you do as the executive director of special education to support those people?
Well, that's a very good question, and it is not even just me. It's kind of we have an executive team within our district that's pretty, and we meet weekly to kind of make sure that we are all working together as a district with the district goals. Um, and working really hard to make sure we're all inclusive. Like we're really working with the curriculum department. You know, Ohio has science of reading, so making sure we have that. But then, like this year, we started going and doing instructional walks into the classrooms to kind of observe where do we need. And then we got some ideas, and we're like, we are seeing a lot of good things, but some things that are not consistent. So, what are our consistencies that we want to do? So, we actually just the last 2 nights we had, a PD with our cross categorical classroom teachers and kinda talked about that and then talked about the curriculum and how can we adapt that curriculum into the classroom with a modified and how what parts, work, that we utilize with general ed that so that when we, um mainstream or, to place the students out to have access to the general curriculum, they'll have some familiarity. And then those who can't make it, then they still have that same curriculum, but it's modified to them. So working with supporting that way. And then we have, regular district meetings, regular supervisor meetings. The school psychologists come together and work and have conversations and meet. Speech and language pathologists do that as well. So really trying the nice thing that's, here in Warren is that we have, 10 speech and language pathologists, 8 school psychs, 6 supervisors. So having them be able to meet and collaborate, I think is very important. And so we try to make sure that that happens at least monthly, if not more. And if we can't meet together, then at least jump onto like a virtual meeting. And then within the buildings, we have team meetings, teacher team meetings to look at students' data and goals. And again, share the district goals down to the building and the building to and then kind of reinforcing those so that we're all kind of on the same trajectory of where we want to go and how we're going to do it. And we're all consistent, which I think is makes things easier when the expectations are clear and all on the same page because when everybody's doing something different, then that's when you don't see the progress. But I think being, that there's some strong leadership here in our district, just not in my office, but
Right.
and the goals are very clear. I think that makes it a lot easier, makes it stronger. And then just, finding people and trying to find people to hire people that have a heart for those students that, really want to, work with, students that come from some strong disadvantage and have things. And we have a lot of people that just, really care about kids.
Right, right, yeah, and those people stay. Those
Yes,
people,
they
when you
do.
get them, they stay. They do. You take care of them as long as they feel it's funny because I was reading an article the other day, and money is not the primary focus for special educators, and keeping them engaged is not about the money, the salary is not their number one concern, and it's interesting because it's like the same thing with speech therapists. One of the things as the company that I have that I run, I'm a speech language pathologist, and knowing that work life balance and feeling like they're valued come
Yep.
even before salary most of the time. Now, not everybody's that way, but that balance that you have to have. And when you take care of them and they know that they're valued, they stay. They
Right.
stay.
Yep.
Yeah.
They have to feel that there's a purpose and they're making a difference.
Yeah.
So I
And the
think that,
making a difference makes a difference too.
yes, it
It
does.
really,
Yes,
that
it does.
sounds cliche, but it's so true. If I feel like I'm spinning my wheels and not getting anywhere because I've got 10 kids in a group for 20 minutes, oh my gosh, that's 2 minutes a kid. You're never going to make progress, right? So
Yeah.
you have to feel like you're making some progress with the kids.
Right, and, throughout the year in all my buildings at different times, different staff, they're engaging with the student and either the student has made some kind of progress or completed a skill and did a task that they've never been able to do, or smiled, and we're like, that's what we do it for. That's what this
Mhm.
is all about. So,
Yeah.
you know,
Seeing that light bulb moment is you cannot put a dollar amount on that ever. Yeah. And
some of the
as a
smiles.
yeah. Mhm. Yeah, yeah, and know that they're valued and know that somebody cares about them and doesn't just see them as an autistic child or as a disabled child. That's not the label is not the human being behind it. It's the human being that's there, and we're trying to help them deal with the autism and the disability. So it's a totally different mindset than I think what people out in the public, not everybody, but there are definitely people in the general population that just don't understand it. They don't understand it, and when they get it, when you get what we do and why we do what we do, there's nothing like it,
Yep. I
for
agree.
sure,
I
for
agree.
sure. If you could, Patricia, if you could miraculously solve one problem in your world that in your sphere of education can't be money, we all know we all need more money. You hear that, government? There's not enough money in education. If you could solve one thing and never have to deal with it again, what would that one thing be?
I would say if I could have anything I wanted, it would be having an array of resources that I could be able to service every child with no problem and have like the best for them.
Mm,
Um, we do attempt that, but with some staffing shortages, room shortages, outside facility shortages, or just limits on things, I would just say no limits on the resources available for our students so that they could have the Cadillac of everything.
right.
That would be great.
Yeah. That's good answer. Very good answer. So where do people go if they want to learn more about what's going on at Warren City School District?
Well, we have our Warren City School website, which has all our information of us just in general, and then like our contacts. So if you wanted to talk to, reach out to me to ask anything specific about how some of the things that we do, just reach out. It would be on our website, Warren City Schools, and the contact information would be that. And then there's some other people also that's listed on there. That's our director, our curriculum, our
Right. Yeah.
superintendent, our associate superintendent, which each person has like, a passion and, a charge of, doing things and moving things, but doing it together, all kids. So everybody has their, niche of what they're doing, but we're working together to do it for all our kids.
Yeah. Coming together, circling the wagons and getting it
Yep.
done and getting it done
Yeah.
well. Good for you. Good for you. Well, Patricia, it has been such a pleasure to have you on Brighter Together. You're making the world a brighter place by the work that you're doing. And I know that the passion is there. And, you're not just your kids, but your staff are all going to win because you are working towards making the world a better place. So keep it up.
Oh, awesome. Well, thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
Anytime. Yeah, it was great. Great conversation. Take care.
All right. Thank you.